Hello, good morning, welcome. Welcome on in calligraphy. Yeah, this is kind of a weird time for me to be streaming, but it works out well with my work schedule, so. And it's kind of fun to just have Monday morning stitching and listening to some jams. Speaking of which, we are currently listening to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, LW. Some microtonal chill jams. So yeah, this is how much we have done on our piece so far. Hello, welcome on in. I'm doing well this morning. I hope you are doing well also. So we have finished this whole column. This is a page and then some, and then we're working our way on the second page and then some, and we have these data bit over here afterwards. We're getting there. It's slow going because we're only working on it a few hours a week. But we're chugging along. Very nearly done work for the year. Nice. That's a fun feeling. I'll be done with work for the year whenever my shift gets done on the 31st. All right. So we got to figure out where we want to start today. I think maybe we'll work more on this section up here, leading down to this rainbow, and then keep going along thusly. So let's see here. Grab my handy dandy printed sheet of my symbol codes here. It's getting very beat up, and I have a bunch of random notes scribbled on it because it's on my desk, and that happens to things on my desk. Alright, so let's do Canary Bright 973. Get out my scissors, because I'll need those. 973. As usual, got my box of my Pokemon Elite Trainer box full of all the colors I need for this project. Hello, hello! Welcome on in! We're doing some cross-stitching and listening to some music this morning. I'm working on a chunk of a very cool internet project. If you're familiar with Reddit, on April 1st, they did a, basically it was a big grid with squares, and once every couple minutes, someone could, every person could click on one of them and change its color. So as a result, there was a bunch of really neat collaborative arcs that went on for a few days. Me lurking for a while? Yeah, lurk away. Thanks for hanging out. So when it finally got done, the cross-stitch subreddit looked at it and went, well, it's basically already a pattern. It's all pixels. And so some much more well-organized and enterprising and motivated individuals than myself put together a Discord, fed it in chunks into an actual pattern maker, picked out colors, and allotted them out in 100 by 100 sections. And then there's plans to get it all assembled together. So this is my square that I've been very slowly working on. Hang on, my keyboard is in a really, really awkward spot for my stitching setup because I don't have a lot of space. And KDM got called into work again today, so... There. There's the Our Place cross-stitch Reddit that leads to the Discord and info and everything. Currently talking to someone who's not touched grass Reddit his life. Well, in that case, you know all about it then. And as far as just hanging out and lurking as always, I remembered what I was supposed to do before I started the stream today. Holiday's been killing me. I was going to reseat this so I got my attention back, but, well, we live here now. I knew there was something. Yeah, well. I move my light so I'm not bonking my head on it. Someday I'll have a desk with more space. I'm just glad I have a setup that works at all for this, to be honest. This is currently my tiny desk with my mic on a boom swung in and my camera on a different boom and a light and a shoebox to elevate my stand that I built out of PVC pipe. But hey, we make incremental equipment progress around here. Started off with just using the legs on the microphone. I've always had this mic. This mic I've liked. But I started off using the legs on the mic itself and using the built-in button to turn it on and off. We've improved since then. We have a boom and a windscreen. And I use the software now so it doesn't make clunk noises. We're getting there. We're getting there. Next step on audio is get a new boom arm with a shock mount. Much the new world waiting. Eventually I might look into upgrading the microphone as well. But I've been pretty happy with the quality on this one, I think. It is not the highest priority. I tend to go fairly, like high medium end equipment, where it's I spend a little bit to get something that will be good enough for a while, and also make a suitable backup, an acceptable backup if I go higher and something breaks. Underneath the window, a piece of Chingatippa, the necromancer will dance on the sun. Also, if you haven't joined me for a cross-stitch and music stream, first of all, if you're listening to this on YouTube or the VOD, and wondering why you don't hear music, that is intentional. I have it set up so it only plays through on the live track. I try to call out what music I'm playing so that if you want to listen to what I'm jamming to for live, you are able to find it. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube or the VOD, hello, thank you. Welcome. As a result, you'll hear me humming and singing along to stuff. I choose you to walk on the Plura. You could in my life. Holiday's been kind of bonkers for me. We've been down a person at work. So everyone's been picking up, or just getting everything done. It's been, I've been tired. Just why, like I said, I knew all week there was something that I was gonna do before the cross stitch stream, and I could not remember what it was. And I'm like, well, it might have been fixing a thing. No, there wasn't a thing to fix. And as soon as I sit down to start stitching, it's, oh, right, I was gonna reseat it on the frame. I'm getting far enough down that it shouldn't be a huge issue until I get up to this corner. And also I've kind of squared it up a little bit, so I got some tension back that way. I mean, I'm gonna lose tension over time with this frame setup since it's just a tension fit PVC. I don't want to glue it, because that gives me flexibility in sizing. Because all of the bits are just dry fitted, tension fitted PVC pipe into PVC connectors. So I can swap out any and all of the bars to make it smaller or bigger. Works pretty slick. Found the pattern online. And I've got a friend with a saw in his basement. So we were able to chop it up real easily. Alright, I've got some yellow that's like a few stitches in. Let's see how easy it is to count and how likely I am to get it correct. Oh, it's pretty easy, because it's just right here, because it's right off of the corner. Also, I tend to move around more than I usually do for obvious reasons. So if I get quiet, let me know because I can fix that. Because I move around more, so I might move away from it and not realize, or it might get turned a little bit because the thread mount on here is kind of loose, which is why another reason I want to get a shock mount. Or if the music gets too loud or too quiet, just let me know. Yes, one bot taken out because it's just me this morning. Also, this song is so good. I'm just counting my stitches. I'm 3 down from there. I've mentioned a lot of times while stitching, but normally while I'm cross-stitching, if I make a small mistake, whatever. I work around it and I make it work. It's no big deal. But this is an archival project, so it needs to be accurate, so I need to actually pull stitches and fix things. Makes it take a little longer. It's also a bigger and more complex project than I'll usually work on. But the square I got is kind of subdivided nicely with like these chunks, so that helps. You and me, static electricity. Static electricity. Yeah, for anyone who wants a scale of the size of this entire project, they're in 100 by 100 chunks. So they're this big. These are all individual pixels. And I'm section S14, and I am not on the very end or the very bottom. Is big. Yeah, it's real big. I think I'm definitely in the back half of people finishing their squares. Even at the pace I'm going, I probably, hopefully, won't be the last one. Because it being a purely internet collaborative project, I figured it would be fun to stream all of it as I stitch it. But that does mean, like I said, I'm only working on it a few hours a week. So my pace is not the fastest, but it's steady. As you can see, we've made progress. We're probably close to halfway, if not halfway at this point. All right, let's go ahead and anchor our... This is the back for people who care about the back. It's not the tidiest, but it's not the worst. Anchor my thread. We'll grab the next color. I tend to just kind of hop around and color switch as it feels natural and as it feels prudent for keeping exact control over where I am. Sometimes I'll do part of a color and stop in a section until I get... cut a little bit of my extra here. A neighboring color and then go back, just because it's easier to count and make sure that I'm being accurate. So there's a few more yellow spots. We'll come back to them for just that reason. Also, for anyone joining who usually sees my video game streams, this is the main reason why I don't have a webcam on during regular game streams, because I have to actually unscrew it from the boom mount and put it and like set it on my monitor and re-change my focus and settings and everything. 411 Canary Deep. Or no, sorry, that's the number of stitches. 927. Or 972. It's gonna be one of those mornings. 972. We got there. This is why I have all the colors I need in a box. Narrows down me flippin' numbers. Trim my ends so it's easier to thread. There we go. And now we fill in between our light yellow with our dark yellow. There's a couple more letters in this this whole logo here, so we're just doing half of it. Sometimes on a project like this, I would just grab the next page and stitch over so it's a little more natural. But again, with it being archival and having to be incredibly accurate, I find just doing at the edge of the page and not flipping between pages makes it less likely for mistakes to happen. And for anyone unfamiliar, the markings that I have here are just outlining my 10 by 10 squares to help me count where I am on the canvas as compared to the pattern. They are in water-soluble marker. It will wash out when the piece is cleaned. Because even full coverage with like white, you can actually see the markings under this white stitching here. But water will take it right out. And DMC Floss says color fast. There we go. What's nice too, once we get back into the rainbow proper, we'll get progress pretty quickly because it's a lot of stitches of the same color and it's not as much color changing. But I want to kind of work down to it so I have a solid line I'm working off the top. That'll make it a lot easier to count. Never wanna give up, never wanna get out of this in this world. How does stitching even work? So, cross stitching is done on an Aida fabric that is woven. I don't know how well it's going to show up here. So you can see that there's holes. It's an even weave so that it's designed to have the holes be at intervals. So it's nice and consistent. And what you do is you thread your needle, and with, when I have a darker color, I'll show you again because it doesn't show up great with the yellow. Because the yellow on white doesn't show up great. But what I'm doing is I'm going up through one hole, down through another for a single angle stitch. Wow, this is not coming across at all. Like I said, I'll show you again when I have a darker color that shows up better on the camera. This camera is not designed for this close of work, but I make do. And then I go up through and go back across to make little X's. So you can see that this is just made up of a ton of little X's in different colors to make the pattern, kind of like pixels to make a picture. So I have a pattern that is, each color is represented by a symbol on a grid, and I'm just following the pattern. It's basically like paint by numbers with thread. IRL pixel art. Yep, pretty much. There's a few different variations. This is counted cross stitch, where I have an unmarked pattern, or unmarked fabric. I mean, I've marked it with grid lines, but I'm basically just counting to place my stitches. You can get pre-printed canvas, so you just follow along on that. That can be a lot easier for people. A little bit less flexibility because you're limited to what's been printed, but they've been doing a lot of kits for that. Inside it hits me, care too much about what I think. So I'm going to pick up a couple stitches down here, and then we'll change colors. Making super, super tidy, nice cross stitch is a skill and takes a lot of practice, but just cross stitching at its base, initial, is really, really easy to pick up if you don't have any, like, hand or dexterity issues. If you do, then it's not so great. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and anchor my thread so you can kind of see on the back. It's a little messy. But what I do is, there's different ways to start an anchor. What I do personally is I just run my needle under a couple of stitches a couple times. And then on the second one, wow, I'm totally blocking this. Again, it's going to be tough with this color anyway. And on the second one, I run my needle back through the loop and pull it tight just to knot it. And trim the end. And that secures it, so all the stitches stay put. So you can see I don't have loose threads or anything. This is a little bit we just did. Let me grab a darker color and I'll kind of show you here. Cross-stitching is very relaxing. Just following a pattern. It's great for doing pixel art patterns. I love doing like Pokemon patterns and stuff because it's just mapping out the stitches. And I used to do pixel art in MS Paint and stuff, so I have some cross-stitch software and I can actually just paint in there and then convert it into a pattern. It's fun. I gotta get more of those done. Let's see, what do I have here? Well, white won't show up even slightly. Let's do a dark gray. Or a silver gray? 168. How light is silver gray? That's 169. Hmm, 168 is fairly light. Oh, I can pick up some black on the edge here. That'll show up nicely. Let's do black, so I can show you better. So floss comes in big skeins. I like to wind it onto bobbins so I can write what color it is. DMC is one of the standard floss companies. They have a very standardized color and dye lot. I mean, there's going to be differences from individual dye lot to dye lot, but it's within a scale. The thread comes in 6 individual strands. I don't know if that's going to show up. Let me see if I can separate it for you here. There we go. So it's actually in 6 individual strands. And we're working with 2. But the way that I'm doing a start is called loop start. So I'm going to pull 1 single piece out of this bundle. Let's set that aside. I'm going to wind the other 5 back onto my bobbin. Some people use little bags. Some people use drops that you kind of loop it onto and cut what you need. It's a case of just finding what works. So we currently have 1 strand, and we need to be stitching with 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop it over itself. Here's the end. And then I'm going to thread the 2 ends into my needle. And if you have trouble with that, there's a lot of different needle threaders out there. I just do it by eye. so now we have our looped thread threaded onto my needle. Sorry, trying to get the ink. I should be holding it like this. And then I'm going to find my first stitch. We're going to start right here. I'm going to pull up. I'm going to go down into the corner so it makes my first half of my X. I'm going to flip it over. So there's different ways to do it. You can either thread both of your pieces, leave a tail, make sure to stitch over it, and then trim it. This is a little cleaner. It's called a loop start. I learned it a few years ago from the cross-stitching Reddit, actually. But so I pull up, and then I pull the needle through the loop, and then pull it taut, and that secures my end incredibly cleanly. Seems really complicated. This is actually pretty much all of it. And then, to cross my X, pull up through in that corner, and cross it. There we go, and now we just stitch. It's one of those things where beginning and ending is a little complicated until you find a method that works for you. The actual stitching is just following along. And now you should be able to see the actual stitches a little better here. I could probably zoom in a little bit. Hopefully it'll keep some clarity. Let's see here. And it's one of those things, too, that it doesn't have to be clean and tidy on the back. As long as the front side looks good enough, you're gonna be great. And that just comes with practice. Let's see if I can zoom in a touch here. Keep the fidelity. All right, I think that's going to be... There we go. And one way to help the stitches look tidy, it's not required. It is for this project, but in general, is if you always have your second stitch going in the same direction, it looks tidier. When the walls come out, cage me too. This is also a way more complex piece than I would recommend for anyone starting out. Because of, come on, the size and the, it's what's called full coverage. So all of the stitches are getting stitched. Sometimes you just do like a figure, and then whatever your background color is, you just leave it as your background color for the fabric. Full coverage means we're stitching everything. There's a lot of color changes, which makes it more complex. I mean, you can do stuff like... I still have to trim and finish this, but this is on a... See my hand for scale here. It is a big old canvas plastic. I ended up using, like... You're supposed to use yarn for this, but I just used a whole bunch of stitches together to do a communicator. I'm going to cut it out and back it with felt and make it into a magnet. This I did in a real short period of time. Looks cool? Yeah. And that one was real simple. You can get like beginner kits that come with all the thread and everything you need. You can get free patterns online for basically anything. Also, the cross-stitching subreddit is incredibly friendly and helpful. I've seen a lot of people come in with like their first projects that they've done just from a kit without having really seen how it works. And not connected their stitches. And instead of people being like, "Rar, you did it wrong. That's now it's not how it's supposed to do." People go, "Oh, was that intentional? It makes a really cool effect for that pattern. For future reference, if how it's normally done is this way, but I might try that for a different sort of pattern." Like everything is just treated as that's a neat way to do that. We're gonna experiment with that. Or hey, that's awesome. If you want it to, if someone's like, hey, do you have tips or anything I should do to tidy it? Then people will be like, oh, hey, you might want to consider X or Y. Oh, it's a fantastic community. Cage me too. So if you have any interest in starting, all you basically have to do is just kind of poke your head in there and say, hey, like I saw someone cross stitching and it looked interesting. Where are some good beginner resources? And you'll get about 70 different responses from 70 different people, as well as make sure to show us whatever you make. But you can also feel more than free to ask me as well. I do not mind. I can tell you there's a bunch of great books and articles and YouTube videos and whatnot for learning as well. um, that if you're still interested and my explanations didn't make sense, I won't be offended. Uh, but would definitely recommend you look for a resource that works well for however you learn. Don't think you'll be good at stitching, can't be trusted with sharp objects. Honestly, the needles aren't that sharp because you're trying to go through the holes, not through the fabric. In fact, a lot of people will specifically use the ball end needles because you're way less likely to stab through your fabric or your previous stitches because that makes it less tidy. This one I think is just a tapestry needle, so it's blunted. It's not fully uh fully ball end, but yeah, it's very, very blunt. As you can see, I'm doing this and it's just poking slightly. Yeah. You can also do with like those plastic canvases I showed. They make like big plastic needles so you can do it with yarn. Or you can do needlepoint where it's just doing the first half of it where it's just the line without fully doing the cross. And you can get some really, really cool effects that way too. So if that's more your speed, that is also an option. There's all sorts of neat ways to do fabric arts depending on comfort level, skill, and ability. This is one I grew up with. My mom did a ton of cross stitching growing up, so I had a lot of exposure to it. So I kind of gravitated toward it. Also, when I realized I could do like NES video game sprites really easily, that was also a factor. There's also a huge community of putting very, very snarky quotes and sayings on really nice traditional borders and a really pretty font. It's pretty great. I have some plans. I do want to do a Darkest Dungeon piece for our house. That's going to have like a nice border with the Darkest Dungeon torch. And it's going to be kind of in a more gothic, fancy font. Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. I've got to chart that out. I have a Gumroad with a friend, or Etsy or something, but we both sort of haven't been doing as much, so I'm going to set up my own. Hang on, I gotta swap music here. But I need to actually sit down and do that. I'm gonna move over my stuff that was on the shared one and then put up new stuff as I make it. Let's listen to some Murlocs. This is the Murlocs, Young Blindness. Thinking is so much easier than actually doing. Yep. Oh yeah. For me, it's a time and energy thing, too. Also, I have come to terms recently with the fact that it's not an official diagnosis, but I've talked to my therapist about it, and we've been working with strategies for dealing with ADHD. ADHD crafting is a real thing. Good lord. Where it's, I'm gonna do the thing. You do the thing, and then I'm gonna do this forever. Buy a ton of supplies. Lose interest. Supplies sit. So I tend to take things a little bit more slowly. Purposefully. So that I know if it's something that I'm actually gonna stick with long term and don't get too caught up in the rawr new thing excitement and end up with a bunch of supplies that I'm never gonna use. So I try to rein it in a little bit as a result. But with streaming and stuff, that eats up time as well, and mental bandwidth and energy. And the Darkest Dungeon thing will happen. I have sat down with my stitching software, and I've made patterns and exported them and everything. And with the shared shop with my friend to get started, I have an idea on how those work. So I'm more comfortable actually taking care of it. I just need to do the initial sit down and get everything registered. Because that's a part of the ADHD too, is the... Sometimes it's hard to... I don't know if it's the ADHD or the anxiety on that one, but it can be hard to start a thing without knowing exactly how every step is going to go and not getting caught on, well, this one thing isn't ready yet, or I don't know how it's going to work, so I can't start anything yet. And that's a tough one to deal with sometimes. But I have been very purposefully trying to get better about that. And a big part too was trying to pace myself. Like, just because I can do a thing like that a friend is looking for doesn't mean I actually have the time and energy or motivation to follow through, so not overpromising myself. And if it's a project that I really don't get around to finishing, coming to terms with that it's okay to just have it be unfinished. I might come back to it sometime, I might not. If it's just something that I was working on for me mostly, then it's fine. It's not a failing. That's been real tough. Because being able to do that with personal projects means that I can more easily and better follow through on stuff like this, where it actually has, it's a loose time frame, but still a time frame. It needs to have continuous progress and it needs to get done. But since I am gentler with myself on stuff like patterns I've been meaning to make and stitch for a while, then it's not as, doesn't put as much stress on stuff like this. Because the other stuff, I'll get to it. Or I won't. It's fine either way. It's not this, this is keeping me from doing a thing, etc. It's almost 2 a.m., off to bed. Well, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the chillin' and music, if nothing else. Great to have you by. You have a wonderful evening. Young blindness, it is obvious you don't care. Young blindness, you don't need it. There we go. Got a chunk of black here. I think I'm going to switch to that silver I was almost doing before. Oops, I'm going to drop my black on the floor. My desk is such a tangle of cords and everything. Okay. Double check my color. 168. Trim my ends so it's easier to thread. I have a playmat I use as a desk mat / mouse pad. And I end up just accumulating my extra bits of thread in kind of a spot on it until the stream's done when I reset my desk so I can actually use it. Just scoop all the thread bits up and toss them. Okay. So let's start right here. Saw some people collecting their orts, and by the time I saw it was far too late. Yeah, I saw that, and that seems like a recipe for something to get knocked over and the cats to eat. So I've already had one run-in with thread and a cat that ended up going to the vet as an emergency surgery, so I don't take chances. Oh, for sure. Like I said, I considered it, but yeah. Jerk got into sewing thread. I mean, he had a full recovery and he's fine, but that was scary. And expensive. Also, with how I'm doing it, I think I've taken a picture of my setup before, but yeah, it's kind of cramped. That would just be a recipe for starting to collect them somewhere, and then they get lost, and then I start another one, and soon I just have small containers full of bits of thread everywhere. My desk is enough of a disaster area. Deep respect for people who can keep their spaces tidier than I can. I try. I really do. Although putting all the threads I needed for this project, and I've been too busy with streaming and work and stuff to really be working on anything else anyway, um, having the box to keep all the colors in just for this project has been so helpful. ADHD thing, if you don't see it, it doesn't exist. Yup. Object permanence is an issue, especially if I've been overly stressed or tired. It's worse than usual. I did buy a label maker, and started to organize some of my craft drawers and actually put a label on them of what goes in the drawer. That helps too. So closer to us. I have friends who are much better at organizing, that are dear, dear friends and understand, but don't have the same struggle, who have actually volunteered to like come over and help me clean and organize and stuff, but I always feel so bad that I'm just like, it's a lot of stuff and it's my mess. I should be taking care of it. After holiday, I'll probably take them up on it and just we'll have a hangout evening and sort through some stuff. They both really like organizing, so that's not even the problem. It's just that sort of being ashamed of it, I guess. Since there's such a importance, like, as a kid and in school, put on maintaining space and tidiness for obvious reasons. But since I've always struggled with it, I've also, over the years, just in general, been very, very good at masking symptoms of anxiety and depression and ADHD, which is not good. I'm trying to undo a lot of it in therapy, but, so I have a tendency to just hide and adapt. That's why I like cross-stitching so much. It's just a nice, start here, end here, the things go here. It's very directed. So it's kind of relaxing to just follow it along. Directed creativity. Because then you actually get to see steady progress, too. It's like something with measurable, visible progress. I had an end that's poking through here. There we go. But I've had a lot of trial and error over the years and do my best. If any of y'all ever have questions, I'm very open about mental health stuff. One of the reasons I wanted to stream is just bring some awareness and normalization to some of it. So it's fortunately with the, like, my generation and the couple generations younger, a lot of that stigma is starting to fade. Thank goodness. But I'm still trying to do my part with it. Because it's not a big deal. And one of the other main reasons I wanted to stream was, well, there's a few. I play a lot of weird indie games, and I just want to get more, show them to more people. Also, it's performative, and I miss doing performance stuff. I've off and on done like improv, acting, singing, instruments, music. I haven't had a real solid, consistent outlet for that, but this is actually kind of serves as that. Because it comes pretty naturally to me, so. Seems to be a good fit. I can subject all sorts of people to my terrible, terrible puns. And on Mondays, I get to share my weird music. Okay, just checking something. Said I like to just stop and count once in a while, make sure I'm still in the right spot here. I'm making some good progress on this little section here, which is good because there's going to be a lot of color changes in these bits. But if I outline it, it's going to be a lot easier. There we go. Got part of our border there. Never learned to try. Figure out where best to run my thread here. All right, wind the rest of this piece here and grab another color. I guess we could do some of the dreaded white on white. My least favorite. In retrospect, always relent. Retrospect. In retrospect. I've said before that once, I mean, it's going to be a while before I finish this project, obviously, as you can see. But I do plan on keeping up Monday stitching in music after that with other projects. Because it's nice. Monday is a day in which I do a later shift, so it works out well that I get a few hours to stitch and stream, and then about an hour to get ready and grab some lunch and head into work. Come on, fabric. I work retail. I have a very, very excellent coworkers, and a manager that actually works with me on scheduling and does her best to keep availability for streaming, which is amazing, and I appreciate it a ton. Oh, yeah. Oh, if it wasn't for the coworkers and management, I would have left where I'm at ages ago. As it is, I'm hoping this ends up this being streaming. I'd love to get it to the point where it's like even remotely like part-time income so I could expand it further. But I know that's not a short-term thing. I've been having good steady growth, which is nice. I really appreciate the community that I've been able to kind of build here. Yeah. This is nice because it gives me a scheduled time in which I do a craft and I sit and I work on it. And I make progress on it, which is nice. And then same with gaming, where I have a scheduled time that I'm going to play some games for some people and we're going to have fun. And it gives me an excuse to get to some of the ones I've been meaning to or try out some new ones. And that's been super, super cool to help introduce people to games I enjoy that they might as well. And just have chill vibes and a place to hang out a few times a week for myself and anyone else. Here's a streamer I watch who says they aspire to be second monitor content, where it's not the primary entertainment, but it's what you have on while you're playing a game or working on something. And I felt that in my soul. I call myself excellent background noise for people. Just something to have on. Funny how you treat me. Because then I don't have to worry about being like hyper entertaining, heavy air quotes. I can just be me and hang out and play stuff and craft stuff. And whoever wants to hang out with me can. I also describe it as I was the kid in high school who would find like weird PS2 games and go to my friend's house or have them come over and go, check out this weird game I found, you need to see this, and then play it for them or have them play it. Now I just do that on the internet. Use my strange video game backlog for good. Honey, I still think I'm single-handedly responsible for the initial interest in my geographical area for the first Katamari Damacy. And also Oingo Boingo. Oh god, does this mean I'm technically an influencer? uh. I'm not nearly good enough at social media for that. I'm competent at enough of it. I wouldn't mind getting just big enough to be able to afford and justify hiring someone to take care of social media. I don't mind the tech stuff. I can do the tech end of things. I mean, obviously, I have a competent setup. Mainly, I don't have like super jazzy overlays and stuff because I don't want to. I like just keeping it real simple. It suits me just having something straightforward. Enjoy writing, no interest at all in creating social media content? Yep. I have a degree in marketing and graphic design. So I've actually was able to whip together some kind of ad graphics that I can just plug in and change date and time, game logo, and a little blurb. And then I've got some templates, kind of, so I can just throw together a post real quickly that I can use the same image for Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. It's not optimized for any of them, but it's competent enough for my purposes for now without causing undue stress and time. There we go. We got the rest of that border done. For the record, I have done none of my own logo or emotes. Those are done by a very dear friend of mine. Because I figured I would have a hard time creating something that I was happy with. You're your own worst critic and everything. And also, I was focusing on a lot of other setup stuff. So being able to get a friend whose style I loved to do some art for me. Because basically anything she throws my way, it's just like, yes, I love it. Thank you. You're awesome. So that offloads a lot of that. They're super cute. Oh, I love them. We've been friends for, oh lordy, decades. She is a fantastic artist, and I love her very much. I'm gonna come back to the white that outlines all of this. I think I'm gonna work on the inside of this bit here today. All right. Let's grab bright red DMC 150. I think that's this color. It is this color. This color. Also, someone last week was asking about hidden Among Us guys. In this section that I've stitched so far, there are no hidden ones. Just the obvious ones here. There's at least one coming up over here, though. And in case we're doing an official count, I have at least one hidden one. Oops. Shockingly, there's none in this, like, nightmare confetti section, which, by the way, was the worst part of this entire pattern and will be the worst part of this pattern, guaranteed. This part sucked. I haven't found a single Among Us dude in yours. I didn't think I had any hidden ones, but then I was looking ahead at the what I have going on in the pattern, and I've got at least one. But also this group is super cute. Oh yeah, it's not in this section here. It's right here. That's right. I knew it was somewhere that I'd looked at the pattern for. There's an Among Us hidden dude coming in right here when we get to that section. I was joking with someone that I know someone had done like a run a filter to try to count the Among Us dudes in the final R canvas or the R place canvas, but it's going to be the Stitchers who have the actual final count because we will find all of them as we go. Because we're analyzing all of the pixels as we go to be able to stitch them. To say, I initially picked this section for the big Pink Floyd rainbow, but it having variable sized chunks of sections to do has been nice, and also I can kind of move back and forth between having like a big open area of stitching a color or filling in a little square. It's made it stay interesting and been a pretty good variety. I felt a... Nope, okay. Felt a little bit of a pull there, and I wasn't sure if it was a tangle forming or just it getting stuck a little bit in the fabric. So that's some really large sections, some really fussy. The super melee frog bit was a breeze. Just large chunks the same color. Yep. Oh, that was the end of that album. I'll swap it in just a sec here. Yeah, you can see from what I've got here, there's definitely been a good mix of big chunks and some little bits of constant color change. You know what? It's fine. Managed to make a little bit of a knot there. It'll be okay. I'll loop it through and secure it. Alright, I'm gonna switch to a CD. Let's listen to some Freeze Pop. Fancy Ultra Fresh. Let's get some synth pop all up ends. Alright, next color. We're gonna make our way down a rainbow PhD here. We need that deep canary again. Oh, are you not gonna autoplay? That would be convenient. Hang on. Let me reinitialize it. I have an external optical drive because they don't make drive bays on computer cases anymore, and my machine was pre-built, so I couldn't find a case specifically. What happens with it? Just play the audio CD, please. It's oh, it's an enhanced disc, that's why. There we go. Alright, 972. This thread is not cooperating. Hang on, let me trim the end, see if that helps. There we go. Just check the rendered section, make sure it hops to this color right away. Yep, okay. gonna be one of those sections with a lot of color changes because of the rainbow text. So it's just gonna be one row across of each. I get to be like a dot matrix printer here. All right, now we anchor this to the next row. All right, next color. Canary bright. Non-7-3. There we go. New color on the needle. Well, once we get at least the rainbow letters done here, it'll be easy because it'll just be filling in the rest with black. But till we get to that point, Sorry, this section's going to be a little less chatty just because I have to concentrate a little bit because it's just working my way row by row, making sure I'm counting my stitches properly and constant color changing. No worries. No friend of mine. Yeah, I figured that was a caps lock. Been there, done that. All right. Next. 907, Parrot Green Light. This one. There we go. All right, let's do some light green. Little rainbowy sections always look so nice when they're done, but man, it's a lot of color switching while you're stitching it. I've got a rainbow flower around, I think it's over here, that'll be similarly obnoxious to stitch, but will look really cute when it's done. I did a pattern a while ago of Majora's Mask. It was very cute, but it was a lot of color changes for such a little bitty piece. And I sold that Majora's Mask one. It wasn't very big, but I charged a little bit more than I usually do just because of all the color changes. Because it took longer to make. I do little stitches and then frame them in tiny frames and sell them at conventions with a table of friends that have a collaborative so we don't need to fill a table by ourselves for Artist Alley. So I can basically stitch what I want, charge enough to cover my materials in a little bit of time. Works out pretty well. And then I don't have all kinds of random cross-stitch pieces sitting around that I have no idea what to do with. Works well. All right, we're getting there. Next color. Okay, next color. Electric blue, 3843. Nope. 3843. Here we go. Electric blue. Having all the colors in one box also helps if my labeling isn't the best. I can figure out what number that was supposed to be. And afterwards it won't be too bad because I splurged and got myself the big DMC book with the color samples, with the actual floss thread samples. So if I have a question, I can compare it to the book. That'll be really nice for pattern making too. I'm glad those came back into print. I know they were gone for a bit because of the reformulation of some of the dyes due to different materials being banned in Europe. So I've got the updated one with all the new colors. New versions of the colors, I should say. Yeah, that was definitely a thing that affected this project overall. People trying to find the correct versions of the colors. Okay, one more color and then we fill in with black. All right, let's grab some purple. Specifically, 550 Violet Very Dark. Yeah, goodbye. It went flying, but here. I have to get the cat hair off it. Though this still isn't as bad as that dark side confetti, because at least this is letters, and I can kind of follow it nicely. It's not just random friggin' bits of various grays. I'll get that little extra bit of end that's sticking out there. There, we got our rainbow PhD. Now we fill in the rest with black. Then that little bit's done. Alright, scrub black. Good old 310. Come on. The bad part about filling in sometimes is finding the right spot that's already been stitched a few times. At least there's no half or quarter stitches. Those are a pain. Those I have to get work better with a sharp stabby needle. Might never come out very even. Also, the bad part about all the color changes, I have to keep reorienting where I am on the camera here as I pick up and put down. Is that the end of that album? I have a bunch of just short ones today. That is not the end of that album. That's halfway through the album. Okay, good. Thought that seemed awfully quick. Not bad. We'll have this whole little square section done by the end of stream here for sure. It's always nice when you have like a full chunk of a bit to point at and go, look, we did the whole thing. Visual progress. Very important for motivation sometimes. Come on, project. Work with me here. There we go. I think I'm gonna need another piece of black to finish this. Yeah, this isn't gonna make it all the way through. In fact, I think I'll just stop it here while I still have a nice long tail to tuck. Try to not play thread chicken when I don't need to. Grab another piece of black thread. We're in the home stretch for this little square here. We're getting there. Woo! This looks like a tangled mess, but it'll flatten out when I wash it, hopefully. There we go. Got that little PhD rainbow section done. Whew, that took a bit of concentration with color changes and just finding where everything is, because also there's a lot of thread back here just because of all the color changes. But it looks tidy on the front, and that's what matters. There we go. Woo! We did it. I'm gonna have a quick stretch here. I'm feeling it in my shoulders. Ugh. Doesn't matter what the back looks like, no one's gonna see it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I came to terms with that ages ago. This is not bad for tidiness. Mainly everything's secure, and I don't have anything carried over too long a distance. Because I've been pretty careful about that. Alright, I think we're going to work on this little bit here, get this started. Cyclamen Pink Dark 3804. This one. All right. Got a new color on the needle. Just deciding where to start here. Well, let's just start here and work our way around. Pick a spot, start stitching, work your way around as it goes. I'm not here to be the most efficient stitcher in the world. I think we've got one or two left on this album. Two more. Skip over a little bit here. Couple stitches here. Oh, I'm fading away from the mic again. Ah. Come back here. There. Try to remember to keep an eye on my levels once in a while. Alright, so 1, 2, and 3. Yep. Then we go corner here. Then one more on top of that one. Come on, thread. There we go. Gets stuck in the eye sometimes. So there's one more over. And then diagonal. There should be 2 stitches away from the next one. Perfect. All right. Good, good, good. That's ideal when that all lines up as it's supposed to. Shocking, I'm sure. Okay, I'm not off. It's... Okay, perfect. Alright, now it's easy again. It's just outlining the rest of the top here. I don't think Thread Chicken's gonna end well. I think I need to grab a little bit to finish this. It's gonna be close enough that even if I make it, it's gonna be a pain to anchor, so let's do this the correct way. Making sure this is the right color. It is. Excellent. This should be a perfect size piece of thread to finish off this bit here. There we go. Woo! And that was good timing for the end of the album. It was Freeze Pop, Fancy Ultra Fresh. Oh, that's right, I forgot it has a bonus of them doing the gem and the holograms theme, and it works way too well as a synth pop track. Turns out it was a band full of nerds. Got a little bit of white to do. Okay, now the album's done. Let's see, we got about 40 minutes. Let's see what I got laying around in the way of EPs here. Let's throw on laminated denim. That's about a half hour. It's King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard. It's 2 tracks that were designed to be intermission music for a couple of their marathon 3-hour shows. So it's 2 15-minute tracks. This was the second of the 2 albums with this kind of music. The first one was Made in Timeland. Laminated denim is an anagram. But that should carry us close to the end of the stream here. Very proggy. It's one of the parts where I assure you I am placing stitches even though you can't see them, because it's white on white. Alright, you can't really see it, but I got some white in there. Alright, let's see what we got next. Just making our way through. Let's get our little Among Us guy in here. 169, nice, Peter Gray. There's 168. Ah, here it is. Alright, let's stitch the first hidden Among Us that I found in this section. Just the light a little bit here. There we go. Nope. Still blinding me slightly. Hang on. There. That's better. A wild Among Us appears. And we've got a little more of this gray color over here, so let's get that. So I have enough thread to do it. It's not a very far jump. There we go. All right, let's see what color we got next. Making a lot of progress on this little section here. Which is nice, because once we get back to the rainbow, that'll go pretty quick. Alright, let's grab our silver gray again, 168. So I mentioned earlier that we would have more of it, but I wanted to do it when it was more natural to stitch, which is now. Trim the very ends, make it easier. Hello, hello, welcome on in. Glad you can make it for a bit. Hope work wasn't too bad this morning. We've been doing the usual hanging out, stitching, and jamming. So you can see we got this whole bit here done today. Started over here, got the border on here, a little bit here. Some progress has been made this morning. Oh, gotcha. That's annoying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Answer phone calls. Got the place ready for the day at least. That means it probably went by quickly and was easy enough. Hopefully. That was not good. I hope you start feeling better soon. You are just in time to see that we stitched the one hidden among us that I found so far. It's right here. We're about to fill in around him. Sneaky little sus among us. We might get this little section done today, too. There aren't too many color changes in it. That'd be exciting. I thought there was a knot forming back there. Dang it. Hang on. Sometimes I hate when I'm right. Caught it before we got too far, at least. There we go. Fixed it. Trim the end so I can actually thread this. Okay, redo a couple stitches and continue on our way. Not too bad. Oh, you've had a chance to play a little bit of the new Pokemon games. Excellent. How are they? I know you've been excited for those. Got through Gym 2. No use. I don't know if they've done many patches for some of the weird bugs that's been popping up on that one yet. Well, you're doing the gyms first because you don't want your moms to stop listening. That's fair. I thought that was only with the traded ones. Well, at least in the originals. I wouldn't be surprised if they changed that at some point. Gotcha. Who'd you pick as your starter? There's the flower cat, the weird duck, and whatever the fire one is. Fire lizard duder? Grass cat. Alright, I gotcha. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm not surprised you went grass cat. Someone pointed out that you could probably do a cat team only on that game pretty easily by starting with the flower cat. And now I'm kind of tempted to pick it up and do a stream run of cats only. Aw. Noodle. Soup. I love your Pokemon names. They are great. Alright, let's see here. We go to here. Soup, I choose you. Named one of them Yeast. Oh, is that the doggo? The weird bread dog? I am vaguely aware of some of the new Pokemon. Pardon the sniffing and sneezing. My sinuses are real bad today. Guessing we had a change in either pressure or temperature. Because that'll usually do it. I had a Pokemon save file like that for, Ruby, I want to say. Where I mostly had time to play where it was fairly late at night and I had insomnia, so they got really bizarre names. Ah. Oh, that's a good grass cat name. Nice. Alright, playing a little bit of Thread Chicken, but we're almost there. Oh no, we're done. Never mind, I win at Thread Chicken. The only way to win is not to play. If we don't get this little section done today, it's going to be real close. The little Mungus hides in pretty well now. Sure, go for it. Canary Bright 973. That is an amazing assortment of Pokemon nicknames. especially all together in a group like that. Noodle, Honk, Sergina, Polita, Leia, and Yarn. Amazing. There we go. A little bit of yellow. All right. Let's plonk some black in there, and then this little section will be done. Do I get anything for about 15 minutes? Let's see here. We'll just run some FTL. I don't have the full soundtrack. This is just the soundtrack sample. I dropped my needle. I found my needle. I should pick up this full soundtrack, or if I have it, I should find it. This is a fantastic soundtrack. It's a fantastic game, too. It's definitely held up. You compose your Pokemon team however makes you happy. There's a lot of new Pokemon, aren't there? In this generation? Fair. All right, we got that little bit done. Yeah, that makes sense. Good way to mix it up. All right, let's grab. Honk has been swapped, switched for Lao. 3842 Wedgwood Dark. There it is. Makes sense. Get better coverage that way. More variety. Ooh, fancy. Fighting type move. Okay. So we start here. Alright, we got a 2x3 chunk of this color here. There we go. A little chunk of blue there. The constant crafting game of where did I put my scissors? Alright, we'll grab a little bit of white, we'll fill in a little bit of that, and that will take us to the end of the morning. And through some annoying color changes. Come on, thread. That is, of course, assuming the thread cooperates with me, even slightly. There, we finally got it threaded. Was not behaving. And we've got a little bit more white here we can do. Finish off these last few stitches here. We'll be in a real good position next time to finish off this full bit here. That's going to be above the rainbow. Look at that extra bit of end that poked through out of there. There we go. And that's just about perfect timing there, too. All right, come on. Trying to not run it under stitches I'm not intending to. There. Ta-da! So we got the outline here, we did black here, we did this bit here, we did all of this, and all of this today. Not too bad. Not a huge section, but there was a lot of color changes in here, so we got some progress. Then next time we should be able to knock out this bit and probably continue on the rainbow for a little bit, where it will go pretty quick for a bit till we get down to here or further down again. But with that, I'm going to bid you all adieu. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for lurking. I appreciate all y'all. Hope you had a nice chill morning with me here while we were working on our place square. I will be back tomorrow night. We're going to be playing some more Slice and Dice because it's amazing and we have so many modes to play. That will be at 6 p.m. Central. And then Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, Slice and Dice again. And then Monday, back to this. But I'm going to head